Okay, family, welcoming all you beautiful souls. We're here on Star Codes with an incredible guest speaker who's going to be at our 7/7 Starseed conference. Every time I connect with the speaker, my entire body rearranges, reorganizes. This is a real deal being, bringing a lot of Arcturian galactic codes to our collective. Ladies and gentlemen, Viviane, Chauvet, it's an honor to have you here today.
Oh, Flo, what a fantastic introduction. One of the best I've had. And you feeling your heart and your presence through your gifts. It brings me so great more joy, not only to be here right now with all of you, but to be part of the Star Codes, beautiful Starseed Star Codes event on July 7 in San Diego, if I remember correctly.
Yes, and it's been a long time in the making, um, but it's time for us to come together. And I know you've been connecting with people in the physical, and how does that differ from online and offline? Do you think it's relatively the same, or how is your experience in both realms?
It's a very powerful question, especially that we are at a time and an era where we're really transmuting the concept of time and space,
Hmm.
limitations, whether it's physical, non-physical. So I feel like it's giving us an opportunity, all of us, to really step into a multidimensional aspect of ourselves. I am personally doing a lot of work on Zoom or online, and I have the ability as an Arcturian to truly transport myself in the space of the person we work with, or to connect at a very significant soul level with the group of people like speakers, or like right now with you and all of you watching. Or you may say, well, you don't see us on the screen. At that point, from who I am, I have no need to see on the screen because I connect you to each other essence. And in a way, this is a portion of how the Arcturians and many enlightened intergalactic groups communicate. So it
Hmm.
has this quality. Of course, in person, there is a proximity of our field with each other. It brings another layer, and I did notice that. It brings a layer of being in each other's presence, and it can amplify some of these experiences for sure. At the same time, there's a little personality energy that comes in. It can also dilute the quality of that connection because, we're projecting our human personalities, or if we're tired, or the distraction of the noise in the place or the venue, or so much going on. So I notice also people get a little bit more distracted as opposed to online. You're much more focused, you want to be there. It's a different conscious choice. I would say there's a beauty lessons on both aspects.
Beautiful. Welcome to planet Earth, right?
You
Like a
better
beauty
believe
and
it.
a shadow to everything. So you must get this question a lot, but I'm going to ask it anyway. My first question is, could you explain the Octurians to people who aren't aware of this collective of extraterrestrials?
Yeah, so I will make it simple, and yet for us, when it comes to the Octurns, it's very much experiential. You have to experience our presence. I remember one thing that my co-host and my dear friend Jeff, who co-hosts the Infinite Star Connection podcast with me, always say, he said, when your Arcturian father comes to visit me, I have to tell him that I prefer more a conscious to consciousness connection. And I said, why is that? And Jeff said, because when your father comes in his a light body presence, when I feel his presence in the room, it is so immense. The frequencies are so huge that sometimes I have a hard time reconciliating or dealing with these frequencies. So Arcturians, we are truly the great cosmic ambassadors, the teachers. I call ourselves the great master Zen of the universe, and yet we are a force of nature. We carry so much wisdom. We are known even by many channels on the planet, and a very famous one, like, for example, Edgar Casey, the sleeping prophet, was referring to us as one of the most known ancient and enlightened intergalactic civilization interacting with the Earth, with humanity, with this quadrant of the Milky Way, meaning the solar system. And we've been around for millions of years. So imagining communicating or being in the presence of a very, very ancient interstellar groups whose consciousness have learned to be in sync with each other. We are very much in the pulse of our community within our delegations with each other while honoring the unique expression of each soul, and the mastery beyond our mental faculties already surpasses everything that you remember so far on the planet. This is an aspect of what we come to return to you, helping you to remembering the pathway to these very ancient faculties, abilities, and I would say even state of beingness. So imagine he's very, very tall. We are very tall being, lanky and yet graceful the way we move, especially through space and time, where we're not bound by a 3D in
Mhm.
3D polarized field or a heavy gravitational pull of a planet like the Earth. So we're very graceful in our own frequencies. And there's such a presence to us. People who have been interacting with them have seen the true aspect of the Arcturians, not a distortion version or an impersonification aspect of us, but a true Arcturians. You can tell that it's about our eyes. It's something speak through the presence, the depth of our eyes. That's just
Yeah.
larger, bigger than the human form. And no, we have nothing to do with the grays. So all this fiction of YouTube and Google, when you find all these pictures of us, it's so distorted because
Mhm.
the essence of who we are, you'll see eventually will bring our presence more. Our frequencies are returning more to the planet. But we are one of the very ancient ones, and we're here to really support and accelerate your return to the state of grace. It's going to be very important moving forward, especially the next 3 years. Mm.
Wow, what a beautiful answer. I love how you just articulate the Arcturian so perfect because you are one. And
Exactly.
that's how I view our conversation right now. I'm in the presence of an Arcturian. And even though I have my Arcturian connection lineage too,
Yes, you do.
it's a deep honor to be in your presence.
True.
So while you were speaking, I was feeling energy, and maybe you saw I closed my eyes because I just wanted to tap in because my spirit just had a rough day and just wanted to receive your energy. And as I did, I became aware of like a data, like a mind that has the knowledge of our star family, the Arcturians, etc. And my question is, how do humans connect to that higher mind where we could recall our star lineages, our Arcturian lives, for example?
Yes, and it's very important. So that's a very powerful point you're making. And yes, I was honored that you closed your eyes to receive the full spectrum of when we were describing an essence of who we are. And you're right, you are in the presence of an Arcturian being. I just chose a very, I would say, suitable form to be on this planet and communicating with you. And of course, it's going to activate your soul ancestry as an Arcturian yourself. You just simply have chosen different lineage to help you in this lifetime, which is we honor as well. And of course, part of them for you, it's the Pleiadians, and you can tell they play a part in your life as well. So I just want to honor that other presence we're sensing for you, Flo.
Thank you.
Going back to the question, which is a really powerful one. So connect to the mind of your heart first.
Mm,
So it's going to be very, very important to recognize consciously the control of the 3D lower mind. It is the basic, instinctual, third dimensional base mind that came through with this experience as a way to help you navigate, understand your needs, protect yourself, create coping mechanism, and all of it. We honor and respect the need at a certain degree of evolution to the 3D mind, but that's at this point it's becoming a huge obstacle. It's becoming a filtering system where the mind will filtering everything for you. And yet an aspect of you wants to go beyond, move beyond this limitation. So we never get rid of anything, we simply teach it to evolve. So first, start to recognize, am I relying too heavily on the filtering system of my lower mind, or what we call the 3D mind, as a way to cope with differences, to protect my heart, to protect myself. It's so just acknowledge it. There's no shame, no guilt. Just acknowledge it, number one. Number two, it says, okay, I am ready to evolve, and I'm going to allow my mental faculties to evolve with me. So let's redirect the mental consciousness, the brain power, so to speak, in the wisdom of your heart. And you know that your heart produces a very powerful toroidal field, or what we call the intelligence field of your heart. By cultivating the intelligence to your heart, you're also creating a more conscious and sustainable bridge of connection that will open to the higher mental faculties. Again, it's mental faculties, not the brain. The brain is the hardware. So your body will shift in accordance to what you need. Yes, we can simply repattern and adjust some of the brain functions to be more functional. But at the same time, we're talking about the mind here. And there's a little bit of confusion between the brain and the mind. So the brain will execute what the mind will tell it to do. It's the execution part. It's like you're entering commands on your computer, and then the computer will execute what is been fed into itself. It's just an example. But to bring back the intelligence of your heart is to rediscovering that the true intelligence of your being really reside at that level. It is the gateway of your reascension. It is the pathway to your realignment. And we do say because it's a return in that state. You're simply returning to identify yourself that way. So this is why it's different rite of passage along the way that you call awakening. We call them rite of passage. And the more and more that you ask every day, I'm going to ask the intelligence of my heart. What this decision feels like? Is it an alignment? What part of myself wants to make that change? Or what part of myself is listening to that change or that decision? I listen and ask the intelligence of my heart. And then feel, let your body becoming a powerful instrument. Let your body intelligence as an ecosystem to show you, to feel, use all your senses. Open yourself beyond. Remember, we invite the mind to be with your heart. So just feel it for a moment, and how it really giving you more stability, discernment, clarity, decision making, and also allows you to hold yourself in higher intuitive centers, and yet to feel grounded.
I,
Beyond, that makes sense, but I felt it.
wow, very powerful. You're blasting me with downloads right now. You're talking in English language, but I'm receiving it in energy, and it's just reorganization going on. Very profound and very well said. Okay, so I have a question that's flowing through. So, from our Arcturian conference that you beautifully spoke and gave us an activation, I know there's a deep connection between Lyra and Arcturus. And that connection really is coming into the fold right now. And I wanted to ask you, what do you feel is these two star species connection? And open to just allow you to take it from there.
That I love it, and I want to thank you for exploring that very powerful question and realm, and that went straight into my heart as an Arcturian. So we know that the Lyrans themselves are very ancient. They're known as as the forefather and the foremothers for many other races, because they have sent out a fragment of their soul essence in a multitude of other realms, whether it's star systems, planet, constellation, and they really have been being a source of great influence. The Lyrans and the Arcturians, we have, how can we say that, a very long ancient history and friendship. So to make it very condensed, and for the purpose of today, I'm going to take you a little journey to time and space, and we're talking about thousands and thousands of years ago, when an aspect of the Draconian invaded the Lyran system, and as a result create a lot of karma and chaos. So a distress call was sent out, and we, the Arcturians, with the power of our fleet, we have immediately deployed one of the most powerful ship in our fleet, and we went directly to the aid of the Lyrans, especially the white tiger, the white lion people, as you call them. And we came, and we, part of the role that I was playing at the time as an Arcturian is I was helping to evacuate the Lyrans, helping them to bring. And one of the roles we had is to save kept an aspect of their great archives, because we know that the Lyrans are the guardians for the original DNA or the celestial DNA template for humanoid life, including Earth humans. And so that template was one of the target that the Draconian wanted to have. And so through our delegation, some of us were frontline counteracting, and I use the word counteracting to keep the positive energy high, to counteract the effort of the Draconians, where another part of our fleet was deployed to bring their council of elders as many Lyrans as possible to bring the essence of their people and the sacred archives. And then we went to we came, we were one of the ones on the front line with them. We're not the only ones, but I know that we came directly. And what is extraordinary about this, and I do say extraordinary, is that in this lifetime, I've always had a lot of feline connection. I personally saw a feline, a Lyran feline being, a female being who came to me a few years ago, and I could see her, what you call physically seeing her. She came to due to a distress call that I sent out, and she responded directly to me and came and appeared to me, and we were able to intervene, and it was extraordinary. And in this lifetime, many of the souls that I, many thousands of years ago as an Arcturian, came to support, but now in turns, what they did is they sent many of their soul to support me during this human, because they knew that now the table will be reversed, so to speak, and I will be under severe attack from the Reptilian and the Draconians, the renegades ones who are thinking that the earth is their domain. And it's not, sorry, but it's not. And so they sent out many of their people in the form of cats, and many of them were directly, they are souls, not they were, but they are souls from the Lyrans. And I know because over the years, some of them who have left their physical form, complete their mission, and return at the soul level. And being Lyrans, they show me that there's these beautiful master, huge lion beings. And they said, well, I played the role of that cat because I was able to counteract a lot of deflect, a lot of attack when you were in astral plane or where your body was vulnerable. I was the one protecting you. And I'm very aware of that exchange of, if you want, of services and partnership and friendship that we have with the Lyrans. And just to talk about it, I am holding myself in discipline, otherwise I would break down in tears. But I'm holding myself in that discipline energy to avoid the flowing energy to my body, what I'm feeling right now. So to make it very short is that we have come to the support to the Lyrans at a time where it was one of the desperate deep earth hours for them. And the ripple effect we have co-created together is still echoing today in this lifetime. So it's just to show you ultimately, Flo, and everyone watching right now, you feel like in your heart, how much we are all interconnected. And so something you have done 50,000 years ago, now there's a loop of time coming back in this point because it was the perfect alignment for you. And that energy is coming back to you now to supporting you in this lifetime. And of course, from a 3D mental consciousness, you have no memory of this. You forgot who you were. You forgot that that even happened 50,000 years ago. But yet it is still part of the vibrancy of your soul akashic memory and field. And it still exists. Nothing is erased. It's always existing in higher form. So these sacred archives will play out a role in a way that it defies the imagination or the concept of the mind. This is why we have to go beyond this. It is very much of a soul heart,
Mm.
remembrance, experience. I hope that answered the question today.
Absolutely. I'm feeling it deep in my being.
Mm.
Feel like my Lyran self is coming out. I've had some memories of being evacuated by Arcturians.
Ah,
So I feel like this is like full circle, full circle right now.
yes, yes, full circle. And we knew that we found each other. It says, okay, you'll come in this human form. I've come into a specialized human form. We're going
Mm.
to be in the same timeline at the same time on the planet. And we knew. And even if the timeline, it would be, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10,000 years in what we call a future, that probability already existed, was already unfolding. And we knew that that would be where we are today because you feel deeply, and I too. So you feel it as a Lyran remembering the Arcturian, and I feel it as an Arcturian remembering the Lyrans. And it's deep, I can tell you that.
It's deep and it's just infinite gratitude. That's what I feel for the Arcturian species. It's just like trust. In our world today, it's hard. I don't know about you, but in our world today, sometimes it's hard to have like that loyalty, but it feels like that bond between the Lyrans and Arcturians is unbreakable.
It it really is. And can I add a layer to this?
Yeah, please.
Okay, thank you. And last year, so in a time frame that you call 2023, it's much closer to all of you. Last year, when we were in Egypt to do this work with the Sphinx, and we did immense work throughout Egypt at different point. What happened is that when we went to the temple of Sekhmet, and we had all these statues in honor of Sekhmet, there's this little temple that you can only enter at a certain number of people because it's narrow. And there is one of the original statue of Sekhmet, and it's so sacred that we were told it was forbidden to take pictures of. So I
Wow.
respected that. And I stood there, and right away the statue became vibrationally moving. And
Yeah.
that's why I saw a female Lyran coming through, and she was projecting thought form into my third eye, and right behind her there was a screen, this holographic screen opening. And what I saw is I saw two Arcturians behind her,
Hmm.
and she was telling me about that history. She was telling, she was reminding me in this form, because she knows who I am. She could see me as an Arcturian, not as a human being, but as an Arcturian. She was reminding me of that history and how it still impacts them to this day. And then her
Mm.
eyes shifted as if she was carrying tears. It was like almost an energy around her face, and these two Arcturians with her. So we went through, I stood there physically, but I was no longer in my physical form. In my light body consciousness, I traveled through time, and we went back to a certain aspect, and they were asking me to help them to seal or to complete certain of those loops. And so we went, as I'm standing there just looking at a statue in silence with the group. It looked like we were in meditation, but I was not. I was out of body traveling. And we went through certain point in their timeline, and we kind of helped them to kind of close those loose ends and there was something that was done there. And so when
Mm.
we came back and I was brought back in my body, and remember, I'm standing on my feet I in front of the statue with eyes like I'm gazing at it, but I'm not there. Once I came back, the screen dissipated, the room became very dense. That's because I was reintegrating the third density. And then the statue became lifeless again. And I knew that the work was done. And all I heard was a huge wave of gratitude. And
Mm.
then as we exited the temple, one of the group members came to me. She was almost like in a trance. She looked at me and she said, "The Lyrans are grateful for you." And I
Mm.
knew that she was communicating. And I said, "Thank you for this message." And she goes, you're welcome. And I've been back into her bubbly self and left. So at this moment, I knew that my presence, physically, my presence in that temple was another opportunity. But that happened last year in 2023.
Wow, that is such a magical story. You're definitely bringing your Arcturian codes to so many sacred portals on this planet right now, and I think that's exactly what is needed to, reinstall the new sacred grids on Pachamama and allow us to remember. And I think this is why we're here. We're here for many reasons, but that's definitely one of the missions.
Yes.
And these interspecies galactic conversations, this to me is my mission. I want us to reinstate the council on the planet Earth. It's in my awareness, it's embedded in me. I've seen it, I've always known about it, and I don't share this publicly often, but I just feel like I can in this moment. It's when we as humans representing star nations come together in our council, we shift the earth out of the outdated leadership models. And this is actually one of the behind the scenes objectives of the Starseed conference. It's a conference, obviously, to educate, activate, but also to bring us together, to bring us in alliance and start this new interbody leadership structure. And I'm just so grateful right now that we're in this time. About me, I've been on this planet. I am a many lifetimes Pleiades, Lyra, Arcturus,
Mhm.
but I think what makes me a little different is I've spent a lot of time on Earth,
Yes, you have.
a lot of
Yes,
time. So I
I
know
have.
this place.
Yes, you do. That's more of a foreign terrain for me. I have not as much connection. But you do. That's the beauty. You bring this grounding energy because of your familiarity with the terrain, while bringing the councils on all these intergalactic councils energy. No wonder it's embedded in you. This is incredible.
Oh, thank you. And I didn't choose this mission. The mission chose me. I was about to go for a hike in Lake Louise, which is a portal in Alberta, Canada. I live in Canada, and it's in the Rocky Mountains. It's known as the Archangel Michael portal. And if you've never been there, it's this beautiful turquoise lake with these Swiss sort of mountains. It's out of a storybook. I'll send you pictures after, and I'll post them in this video so you can see what I'm talking about. And right before I'm about to go on a hike, a good friend of mine, Kumara, calls me and he said, "Today you're going to get your mission." And I'm so used to hearing messages from people and others. I took it very lightly and I forgot about it. Right. And I just carried on with my day and I was with a group of people and there was a lot of chatter. And I'm like, I need to just meditate on my own. So I went ahead of the group and we were climbing a mountain. We were trying to get to the summit. So I was walking very fast. And when I got to the summit, they were half an hour behind me and I had the summit to myself. So I'm meditating. And as I'm meditating, I'm flashed with images of a starseed community, of councils, of us coming together. Just like everything was clear. And like, you're meant to do this. So that vision was before I had this Instagram page with over 100,000 people now. And it's just beautiful how the universe supports what we're meant to do. Whether we stop it or not, it's going to happen. So I feel I'm sharing this because in your presence is me witnessing this dream come true. And it's a dream beyond me. It's a dream for our planet because as you could know, this Earth school is something else.
Tell me about it. I mean, it's just, and yet when you start to feel and you get the pulsation when Mother Gaia sent out a signal to her heart, she seems to be so irresistible. And you go, oh, I can do this. I'm coming, Gaia. And you go in and you go, whoa, there was some fine print that was forgotten along the way, didn't you? It really is quite a very rich multi-layered experiences. And of course, as an intergalactic being, and look at things around me, like there's so many things that seems to be so illogical to me. It's like, okay, now I can, it's like an orchestra. Let's just, your symphony has the potential. It is just in this harmonic energy with each other that brings you back, follow the lead, listen, get back into your power, feel, and then bring the guidance. And we're going to re-harmonize that symphony. Now we can produce a masterpiece. And that's what I
Mm.
feel that we all came to do. So I love your vision. It felt so in alignment, and at the same time so much needed. And the
Mm.
return of all the great council. People says, oh, I'm part of council in the light body. Oh, I'm part of this. Great. Let's bring it here so we can implement it into this new era, rediscovering what Gaia is really about. This is not a fragmented dualistic planet. It was designed as an arc
Mm.
of a Genesis arc, a arc of like a garden of energy and life, and a beautiful paradise of energy. And this is what we need to come back to. And I think we're all doing our part. I know that I'm here a little bit more for the future timeline is coming in. This is where I'm going to be fully activated. In the meantime, I'm playing a role support or a support role into the work that we do. And like you mentioned, and of course, being in your presence, reconnecting with you in this lifetime, it is truly a joy.
Oh, so beautiful. I receive. And I must say, you are very familiar to me in this moment. It's just, I'm definitely spent some time with you in Arcturus.
Yes, yes, yes. You have spent a few
Um,
life cycle with us. Uh,
yes,
you want to learn. You want to learn. So from Lyra, you went to us, and then you came back, and then you
exactly.
experiment, and you say, okay, now I'm prepared for my grand return again to Gaia.
Mm.
And you came and you're reactivating your crystal, your soul crystal, and Gaia says, welcome back.
Mm.
And yes,
Wow. Feeling and receiving. To close out, because this has been wow. Do you have any final words for anyone who is on Earth? Maybe how to navigate this plane from the Arcturian perspective? Because there's a lot of starseeds who are in their first incarnation, and they're kind of getting a little, it's Pachamama is giving them a little slap in their face to speak gently. And I meet many of these people in the starseed community, so I wonder if you have any guidance for these individuals.
yes, absolutely. So Pachamama will provide a foundation, and Pachamama is who she is wherever you are on the planet. Is the conscious structure that is really restrictive. Remind yourself of who you are. So, what I would say first, reconnect to the intelligence of your heart and say, I accept that as a star seed, an emissary representing another beautiful group consciousness delegations. I bring frequencies. I'm here on a sacred journey. I am here on the sacred journey. Allow yourself to learn from this experience because your soul also experience a multitude of very complex action, energies, experience, events, situational, whether it's to relationship, whether it's to experimenting to this field. Remember that this time that is given to you now is unique in every way. It shall never repeat itself twice. It is unique in space and time. So the time frame that is given to you, feel in your heart, do I want to maximize the time I am here to really implement what my soul divine design has come to do, and yet experiencing this human life? Be at peace with this human life. Be at peace to be on Pachamama. Get to know Gaia. Feel call upon her consciousness. She will help you to navigate through her realms. And this way, it allows you to start to feel that you can navigate with more centeredness and still being grounded in loving presence in parallel to this reality. There's no need to be fully engaged in it. People would say, look at me. How do I do it? How can I function in this field? I pay my bills like you online. I go grocery shopping for my family. I need to pay my kids' tuition, college fees. I function. I understand that I'm simply abiding by a functionality. I still who I am. It changes nothing.
Yes, that is the truth. Hallelujah. I give deep bows to that. That's integrity. That's what I call integrity.
Yes.
I bow to integrity and I give gratitude to that word's coming down because that is the word of council members, integrity. So I
Yes.
bow to you. Maybe be impeccable with a word and serve this plane and also be authentic. Thank you to yourself and your Arcturian collective councils that you bring. Thank you to your frequency. Thank you to your Akash for all the lifetimes of service. And I'm in gratitude. I feel like an ambassador right now to Earth saying thank you. So
Yes.
I received that
Mm.
mission in this moment.
Incredible. I am so honored, Flo. And it's from one ambassador to another that we honor each other. And it
Yes.
really is the authenticity becomes your integrity.
Mm,
And it makes no difference what others may say.